Right.
Yeah. Good morning, guys. Again. Everyone, we have today guys from Cometly, basically sharing new updates to the tool, and also kind of like from the perspective of these guys. I mean, they're overseeing a lot of advertising spent, a lot of tracked advertising spent. Kind of like what are the major things that are happening right now, the major changes, the major shifts with advertisers in general. So, guys, yeah, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah. Awesome,
Sure.
Alex. Excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks
Cool,
for having
guys, and yeah, just comment here so we know you're here, and ask any questions to guys in terms of like tracking. If you have issues with tracking, any of the like platforms, like what challenges you're experiencing, the guys will be able to answer because they're overseeing a lot of data. They're overseeing a lot of advertising spend, so they'll be able to answer those for you.
Yep. Totally.
Cool, awesome, guys. So, yeah, how's I mean, last time we chatted like several months ago, I believe, right? And what has changed since then? For Cometly, for you guys, as kind of like overseeing all of that like advertising spend.
Yeah, I mean, we've made actually a ton of new updates, a lot of stuff that people see on the front end, which we'll go over, but more so a ton of updates that people don't see on the front end that actually took place on the back end. So when we first rolled out, the tracking was pretty good, but we wanted to keep improving it to make it even better. Like people that used, one-click upsells, different types of checkout apps and stuff like that. So a lot of people would sign up, not have a standard setup, and then be like, oh, it's not working for me. And, now we've made a ton of new updates so that if you use a different type of checkout, or if you use, some weird type of upsell app, Cometly integrates and will literally track everything perfectly. So the attribution has been spot on. And also when we first launched, Cometly's tracking was sort of just in a way dependent on UTM parameters, but still a little bit more advanced than that. Since we last talked, we rolled out the Cometly Pixel, which is basically where when you set up Cometly, you put a tiny little script on your store. And then literally when people come to your store, we can track them pretty much without UTM parameters. So if they come to the store and then they leave, and then they come back within 28-day window, because that's the window we track. If they come back within 28 days and they buy, then we're going to be able to track them. And this is huge for people that have high average order value products, right? Because a lot of people will see an ad, click it, go to the store, and they won't buy right away, right? Yeah. So it's huge that we're able to walk over a 28-day period to track these people. And we're seeing insane improvements on people's ads that are using this. It's pretty exciting.
Awesome. I think we have actually like relevant questions. So has Cometly fixed the tracking and checkouts out of sight of Shopify yet? Like, for example, Funnelish.
So Funnelish is one that we're still working on. We're literally, Matt, you were in talks with the guy at Funnelish, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much every other checkout right now we can track on. There just has to be a certain like structure on the order confirmation page that Funnelish quite doesn't have yet. So we're still working with them specifically, but pretty much like 98% of all of the other checkouts we can definitely track on.
Yeah, and we're in talks with the owner of Funnelish, and I definitely think we'll get them integrated probably within the next few weeks. So, because we know that's a popular one, right? And when we hear all these popular, the most popular ones, we want to integrate, of course, right away with them. So, yeah, that's still what we're working on, but I think we'll have it within a few weeks.
Awesome. And so in terms of like platforms, right? So currently you guys are supporting Facebook, like, and you mentioned something about like TikTok and other advertising platforms. Are those already kind of like active, or those will be introduced soon?
Yeah, those are next on the roadmap right away. So literally, we can kind of go over the other updates that we've done, huge updates, which are super exciting. But then literally next on the roadmap, we have one is TikTok. So we're integrating TikTok next. And then two, the ability, and this is what we're so excited about, the ability for anyone to basically integrate as many Shopify accounts as they want into one Cometly account at no extra cost. So we know there's tons of people out there that have multiple Shopify accounts, different stores. What they're ultimately going to be able to do is use one Cometly account with different sort of spaces. So we're calling them spaces. So you can literally have one store in one space, and then all of your analytics and all of your stats there. And then in a different sort of space, project, you'll literally be able to have another store. And so those are going to be really, really cool because we're going to be rolling out TikTok with that, it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. So with these updates that you mentioned, kind of like, can you guide us through? Maybe you can even like show on screen kind of like what changed about the platform since we last chatted.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me go ahead and share screen.
Does it allow you to share screen? I don't know.
Yep, it should. And here we go. And let me just make sure that is there. And okay, perfect. And can you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, guys, ever since we last were live with Alex, there's been a ton of new updates to the platform. The biggest update that we've made is the Ads Manager interface, which is on my screen right now. So anybody that has a Cometly account, you guys know when you navigate into all accounts and you go into a specific ad account, you'll literally land perfectly right on this Ads Manager. Now, before, unfortunately, it was just really an analytics tool, right? So it was a pain in the ass. You had to look at your stats in Cometly because it's the accurate data. And then in another tab, you'd have to jump over to your Facebook ad account to make the actual changes, right? So you're like, I want to scale this campaign up, or I want to turn this one off because it's not working. Okay, I'll have to like jump over to Facebook, turn it off, scale it up. Well, now in Cometly, what you're actually able to do is just come directly into here, and literally you can go ahead and turn things on, or you can literally go ahead and turn them off. And then in terms of like, if this campaign, you want to go ahead and scale the budgets, we give you a little thing up here that says we did it. You want to change this to 40, go 55, you can go ahead and do that. And then literally we give you an update, say, hey, this has been changed. And it happens literally instantly. So as soon as I change this right in Cometly, you can jump over to Facebook, and within seconds or milliseconds, you'll see that the budget is updated. So this seems like a kind of a small update, but when you're actually, for people that are using Cometly, they know how big of an update this actually is because how big of a pain it is to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So to be able to view the accurate data in Cometly,
and it looks very similar. The whole like dashboard looks like very similar.
Exactly, because Matt and I we spend all day inside, the Ads Manager as well. And we're like, we want this to look exactly like what we're familiar with, right?
What's going to be great too about this is like, the actual ad platform for TikTok or for Google, like they're kind of difficult to navigate. Google's a lot different. And I think when we have TikTok and Google in this type of format for data view, it's just going to be a lot easier. So like the ad groups will be in the ad sets, right? So it's just going to be like this format, but for TikTok, Google, and Facebook will be all the same like this. So yeah, it is pretty similar, but it's pretty cool. We have a lot of functions that you can't even do in Facebook, like moving around the actual columns, like dragging them back and forth. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. You can also like pin. Like if you just want to keep the amount spent, like pin to the right, you can show that, Grant. Like you can just literally pin the column to the right, and then you can scroll and you can pin whatever you want to the left. So it's really a lot of the features we're going to be building out too from this are going to be a lot different than what you're able to do in the actual ad platforms.
Yeah, it's just way more customizable. Like we've seen a lot of users pinning just really important metrics. And once again, these seem like small things, but when you're in the weeds of analyzing, data and like, over $1 million a month in spend, which we have a lot of big brands, using Cometly, and they're literally telling us that this has cut down an unbelievable amount of time that it takes them to go into their accounts and make changes and optimize. Like, for example, like Matt just mentioned, we can pin. So a lot of times what people will do is pin really important metrics, like whether it's gross revenue. This is all obviously a demo account that we're using, but if they want to pin, gross revenue to the left, always keep an eye on that, or something else. You can always sort of just come in, quickly pin it, and be on your way, in terms of looking at the data. And then the other thing too is in terms of the columns, you have full customization now over what numbers, what metrics you want to see, right? So before, Cometly had what we call these global presets right here. And unfortunately, you had to kind of switch based on, the metrics that we've stacked into these global presets. But now we've rolled out customized columns, which is literally where you can come in and you can select exactly what metrics you want included on the screen. And then you can go ahead and do like, Alex preset 1. You
Mhm.
can go ahead and save this. And then now this literally will display all of this, and you can come in and see the presets that you've saved. So in terms of analyzing the data, you basically put things exactly where you want. You come in, you can go ahead and select which report you want, and then well be on your way to making changes, turning things on, up, down, all around.
That's awesome. We actually have some questions here. So does Cometly pass back purchase data to Facebook?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And so there's a huge I don't want to name any specific competitors, but there's a lot of competitors out there that say they pass the data back to Facebook, and they actually don't. They'll sort of have a hack around it, like offline conversions or something like that, and it just doesn't optimize the same way. But yes, it's very important that you pass the data back to Facebook. And when you hook up Cometly and we connect directly to your Shopify store and we connect directly to your ads manager, we're able to take the accurate data and pass it back to Facebook. Now, it's important to note that even though we're passing the data to them, it's still out of our control what they do with it, which means, let's say, Cometly, which, by the way, we have this new Facebook metric stuff, which we can go into. But let's say Cometly, like you see here, Cometly tracked 14 purchases on this ad set, and Facebook only tracked 12. And we tracked $500 in revenue. They tracked $368. We will send that additional $133, and we'll send the additional 2 purchases to them. But if those people, these 2 missing sales, if they opted out of tracking, a lot of times Facebook won't directly show this inside their ads manager. And we haven't gotten confirmation, but we've talked with people at Facebook. It seems though they're still using the data we send them for conversion optimization, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So the pixel gets smarter, and the optimization gets better over time.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And to expand on this, this is something else that we're so excited about, that we rolled out these Facebook metrics. So literally now inside your Cometly Ads Manager, you'll see Facebook reported purchases, and you'll see Facebook reported revenue. And then this new metric as well, Facebook reported versus real. So what this is this is literally, we're pulling this directly from the ads manager in Facebook. This number will match perfectly with what you see in Facebook. So you can literally side by side, and this is a report I always recommend people create now, Facebook metrics or Facebook versus Cometly. You can literally see side by side what Cometly's tracking versus what versus what Facebook's tracking in purchases, and then also revenue. And it's unbelievable the amount that we're seeing on big spenders, big brands. This gets out of control, right? So over here, Facebook reported versus real. You'll see all the revenue in green if Facebook's missing sales, and then you'll see this will be negative number if Facebook's over reporting. So what we'll see all the time is this number. Facebook will be over reporting down here on this ad set, and then it'll be underreporting on this top one. So I think, Alex, right now there's this whole stigma for a lot of people that Facebook and Instagram ads are sort of going downhill, or they're not working as well. But the truth is, people are using inaccurate data in their ads manager to make decisions on ads. So it's this ad over here is getting you no sales, but Facebook thinks it is. So you're scaling it up. And then people wonder why their ads aren't working. Well, it's because you just scaled up an ad that's not actually working, right? So this really helps in terms of, okay, cool, I know this one's working. I'm going to scale this up, do it right from Cometly, and be on my way.
That's awesome. So we have another question here. How many percent is the attribution rate?
Yeah, we're seeing near 95+%. The 5% that we see not tracked are things that we discussed earlier, like if somebody has some unique type of checkout. But I can honestly say, if people have Cometly set up exactly how we show you in the training to set it up, you literally should be tracking, 95+% of the sales and the orders that come through.
Something that does happen is if you come on the platform and you're already running ads, and, let's just say, I don't know, let's say you already had traffic that you were running before, and then, they're purchasing over a 28-day window. You have to think about it. All of those people from the past week or two that you were running ads to, and they came to your store, and then they came back direct and just bought. We're obviously not going to be able to pick that up because the pixel wasn't on there, or the ad ID parameter wasn't in there. But over time, as you are running traffic, those new people that, the Cometly pixel can pick up when they visit the site, we're able to then attribute back to the sale when they actually buy again. So, that's over time.
That's an important note, and that's very true. So like if somebody signs up to Cometly today, that 28-day attribution window starts today, which is, April 11th, right? Whereas it doesn't retroactively go back 28 days. So their 28 days starts today. So that's where like over time, over a 28-day period, people will start to see a massive amount of sales in their Cometly Ads Manager that we're picking up that Facebook otherwise wouldn't, especially because Facebook only does that 7-day attribution window, right? So because of the privacy BS. So yeah, it's massive in terms of that.
Cool. So and it's like getting better over time, right? Like so let's say you start using like Cometly today, as that data accumulates, also with that like 28-day attribution, if you're selling like something like higher ticket, that attribution just get better over time. So you might not get like that like 95 whatever like attribution from day one, but within like few like weeks you should be getting there.
Exactly. You nailed it 100%. So literally users that first come on and in their first week, they're like, hey, you guys aren't picking up every single sale. And it's exactly what Matt described. It's like, well, yeah, because if somebody came to your store and landed on your store prior to you setting up Cometly, then we don't have that data in our servers, right? That person doesn't exist to us. They're a ghost user, what we call. But over time, every single hit that comes to your site, Cometly is going to be able to boom, track them on their first visit and then literally match them up perfectly to when they decide to go buy. So yes, awesome. It gets better and better and better over time.
Another question here. Can Cometly track sales through ClickFunnels too?
No, that's not one we're able to do yet. That's going to be a little bit of a bigger integration, but the one thing we can do, Alex, is if you guys, if you're using ClickFunnels as a landing page, right? So somebody goes through a landing page and then you kick them over to Shopify checkout, Cometly will have absolutely no issues at all. If you're taking payment through ClickFunnels, that's a whole other story. We won't be able to track that yet. But yeah, just want to clear that up. And that goes for any landing page software. If you guys are using a lander, which is obviously huge for your ads, you're creating like a sales funnel. As long as you kick them over to Shopify checkout to actually take the payment, Cometly would be 100% perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you have a comment from one of the user, Justin here. It said Cometly is amazing. Been using it for all of my sites.
Awesome. Yeah, Justin, really appreciate that.
Cool. So I think this one you answered, but if you can just kind of like repeat, maybe some people haven't heard it. Like, are there plans for additional traffic sources other than Facebook?
Every single traffic source. And I know to some of the users that have been with us for a while, we did say that a few months ago, and we appreciate your patience on this. But this is a one update we really wanted to get out, which almost was more important than other traffic sources, was the ability to make changes, because we had to do this first. Because now when we integrate TikTok, we integrate Google, we integrate, every single ad channel, you will have the ability to turn things on and off, increase budgets, basically optimize your ads immediately. So yes, what is next? TikTok is next. The ability to, like our friend Justin here in the comments saying he loves it and he has all these stores, the ability for Justin and people like Justin to have all of their stores under one Cometly account for no additional cost, that's coming too. And then after that, we're going to be integrating ad channels almost on a bi-weekly basis. It's our goal to get every single popular ad channel on the platform. And once again, at no additional cost, it's going to be very simple.
Awesome. So another question here. If the BM used by Cometly to access the Facebook API gets banned, will everything stop tracking?
That's a good question, Nicholas. If the BM used by Cometly to access the Facebook API gets banned, will everything stop tracking?
He said, I mean the Cometly own BM.
I'm not sure what that means, because Cometly doesn't own your business manager. When you hook it up, well, I guess when a BM gets banned, all of your ads stop, right? Everything shuts down. So there would be nothing for Cometly to track, actually. That makes sense, right? Maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
Yeah, I think maybe he's talking about our API access. I'm not really sure. But yeah, we have the highest level of API access because we are a Facebook marketing partner. So we're able to make these changes to the ads. So yeah, I mean, I think maybe our business manager, I don't know if you're talking about that, but yeah, there's no concern there. We have a great relationship with Facebook.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So here, another question. Okay, Okay, I think you also answered this one. I think these like pain points are very similar for users. Will be able to connect all of my Shopify stores and add accounts to one Cometly account without additional costs.
Yes, Justin, that's coming. That is next on the priority. As we mentioned to Alex, that's going to be our TikTok integration, and then something we're calling Spaces, which basically means, Justin, you'll be able to create a space for every single store that you have. You'll log into one single Cometly account, and then you'll be able to see all your different spaces, all of your different stores. You'll be able to connect different accounts to those and be able to optimize everything in one single account.
Awesome. Another question here. Questions just keep flowing in. So would you add filters browser? Let's say I got two creatives, same ad set, and I want to filter to see only one of them. Would you add it?
Yeah, we actually have that right here on my screen. So we added this filter button. And so I think this answers the question, but if you come into like, you know, all the campaigns are here. If I just want to look at these top two, I can go boom, boom, and then just literally click this filter button. And now I'm just looking at these two things here. If I can do the same thing on the ad sets, I just want to look at these two ad sets, boom, boom, and maybe this one here, and then filter. And here are those three. And then even on the ad level, let's just say I want to look at those two, or actually it looks like on this demo account, the checkbox isn't there, but yeah, so you can literally filter just by easily clicking and then hitting the filter button.
Awesome. All right. So can Cometly connect to more than one Facebook profile?
Yes, absolutely. So that's been since day one, actually. You can literally connect, depending on your plan, but you can pretty much connect any profile that you want. You can swap them out, you know, free reign with all of that. The other thing too, Alex, that I want to mention, because a lot of, you know, obviously with Facebook kind of being crazy over banning DMs and profiles and stuff like that, we have a ton of users that use proxies, right? Which is totally normal. They use proxies to sign in and out of Facebook profiles to manage their ads. One of the cool things is when you go ahead and you set up your Facebook profile with Cometly, you have to connect it through your proxy, right? But after that, you can literally go ahead and log into Cometly from, you know, home computer, whatever you want, and you can make changes to your ads, turn things on and off without logging into the proxy, right? So it actually is so much more convenient for you to manage ads in here, because you don't need to fire up the proxy profile every single time you want to go make a change. You can literally jump into Cometly. Facebook will still recognize that profile as the one making the changes. So it's a lot of users that use that. They're seeing a ton of just major convenience there.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm talking about your own API access. I was wondering the risk of building an app off the back of Facebook.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have a great relationship with Facebook, like Matt mentioned, and you know, there's pretty much zero chance of us getting shut down. We have dedicated reps we talk to over there. Our developers have a great relationship with their developers, so yeah, we're no issues there. If he's talking about his own app, well, you know, he should consult somebody else.
Awesome. So here, some amazing. Currently adding, linking different accounts. It doesn't work. It won't show the sales. Can't wait for this update.
Yep.
Awesome. So Nadav is asking, could I add more columns? Let's say link clicks, percentage from video views, special personalized columns I can make for my own.
Yeah, so that's one thing. In terms of the actual metrics themselves here, like on this list on my screen, guys, if you do not see a metric that you want, reach out to your Cometly account manager inside your Cometly account and literally say like, hey, can you guys add this metric? Can you add that metric? That is something so easy that we can do. So for example, video views, I'm already going to write that one down because we don't have it in here, but yes, we can add it. That's something so easy we can do within week. But yeah, so the metrics we have in here, when you select these, they add directly to your screen here, and then you can save this as a preset. You know, so it's super easy to customize them.
Awesome. So if I make changes via Cometly, my API doesn't get forwarded to Facebook, right?
Nope, absolutely not.
IP, yeah.
No, yeah, the IP address, right? So the IP is going to show in Facebook as the profile that you've connected. Yeah.
Wow, this is cool. This is like perfect solution for people, you know, that they're doing like these different like VPS and like all these.
Exactly. Exactly.
Perfect. So here, how is it different than Hyros?
Oh, I mean, where do we even start with that question? I mean, should we start with price? Let's just talk about how ridiculous the pricing is over there. I mean, I don't even know.
Somebody at about 100x cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that 100x number might actually be not even exaggerated. It might be correct. But yeah, aside from price, because I mean, price is one thing, but aside from price, let's just talk about the actual interface. In terms of really getting good results with your ads. Let's just say you have good creatives dialed in, perfect. From there, it really becomes what you do with two things. One, having accurate data. Let's just assume Hyros tracks well, right? We've heard Hyros doesn't track well. We've heard it does track well. Let's just say it does track well. Aside from it tracking well, the biggest complaint or the biggest pain that we've heard from everyone that has switched from Hyros to us, and there's been a lot, is the actual analyzation of the data, right? They have such a tough interface to actually look at your data to know, okay, this is how many percent of getting, this is how many, how much revenues come in, and then being able to just see the actual campaigns, the ad sets and the ads, and then to make changes on those. And so that's a major benefit, is being able to see the data, make changes. And a lot of people are like, well, Cometly add a Chrome plugin. And the truth is, we kind of don't want to add a Chrome plugin into the ads manager. We've heard from everyone that the Hyros one is extremely buggy. It takes minutes to load, up to 5 minutes plus for you to see your data. So when you come into Cometly and you have this really nice interface, you literally make changes in seconds and see those changes published over to Facebook. So there's a ton of different things, but aside from price, the user interface, the functionality, and the speed at which we're making updates, I think all of those things, pretty much do it. Would you agree, Matt?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I just think overall, for me, it's just the interface of how, from what I've seen for Hyros, never used it, but from what I've seen, and heard from customers, I mean, yeah, it's just the interface alone and just the, how fast the tables are. I think that was one thing to add on too with this whole update was we actually redid all of these tables. So now they're super fast. I mean, there's literally like no load time anymore, barely any. And also, I mean, just there's a lot of different features and functions that we have within the table, like the daily breakdown, all of that stuff. You can see like, under each ad set, ad and campaign, 5-7 days, or whatever the date range is, you can see exactly what the performance was in that day. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
How do you achieve that like fast loading? How do you achieve that kind of like?
Well, when you're working with, there's so much data.
A lot of tech.
Yeah, it's a lot of tech. I mean, that is probably one of the most important things we did. That's really not like, it's not something that's super sexy to talk about, but like the speed itself, just like behind the scenes, the code that's going on there is unbelievable. It just literally sped things up, faster than Facebook's table. So
yeah. And the last thing I would say, just from the pain points that we've heard from customers that have moved from Hyros to Cometly is Hyros, it takes a really long time to set up, and there's a lot of complicated steps that you have to take to get it set up. It's not necessarily a perfect out of the box solution, but with Cometly, it literally is, right? So you set up your own account. It takes about 10 minutes. We don't force an onboarding call onto you. We're kind of there to help you if you need it. So, we have reps right here in Philadelphia that literally will jump on a call, help you set up everything. And once again, you can set it up fully on your own, and it takes about 10 minutes. And from signing up to Cometly, starting the trial, to literally actually having your ads track, no exaggeration, it's probably 10 to 15 minutes. So, yeah.
Wow. Awesome stuff. So someone mentioned about 100x cheaper. So what API do you recommend to work with you guys? You got a mega multi-pixel to help the Facebook pixel, and I see it as a great combo, or do you got like a better fit for you?
Yeah, so in terms of the Pixel app or like the conversion API, if you guys are already using one of those, that's totally fine. Inside your Cometly account, you can come into integrations and just go ahead and turn ours off. If you want to use them and like you feel like they're working well there for that specific situation, then go ahead and do that. We're not going to force you by any means to use ours, but of course, I don't know why you wouldn't want to use Cometly's. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So, hey, jumping in late, so might have missed some stuff. Cometly starts tracking once we actually activate Cometly, right? Meaning the sales won't backtrack to campaigns currently active before we hook up with you guys.
Yeah, it's correct. So, I mean, there's really just no way for us to like retroactively track because the Cometly pixel has to be on the store. The parameters for the ad ID has to be set up correctly. So because of that alone, there's just no way to retroactively track. However, any existing campaigns that you do have running, you're able to start tracking them from that point forward using our campaign tracker. You can just turn on the tracking for those campaigns that already existed.
Exactly.
Cool. And also I'm sharing, I think you guys have set up these special like links for our community. So if someone wants to just like try Cometly for themselves, we had those special links, right?
Yes, that is absolutely right. Let's throw that in the chat for sure. Actually, that's not to beat up on Hi-Res too much more, but that's another thing that makes us different than them. We have a 14-day free trial. So believe it or not, you actually get to fully use Cometly 100% for free for a full 14 days. And if you do not like it, you cancel and you never pay us a penny. And if you do love it, then cool, you continue on with us. But we don't take your money and then pretend it or, refund it back to you, or like, we don't do any of that. It's just you sign up, use it for free, and it's a 14-day trial.
Cool. What is another great question here? What is your API? Could you explain about your API compared to other stuff? Or if I use two other things, how does it affect the results?
Yeah, I'm sure they probably mean the conversions API. So the interesting thing about the majority of the other sort of conversion API, Shopify apps out there, right, is that a lot of them still rely heavily on Facebook data. And so specifically, most of them are limited to, pretty much working with the data that is of non-opted out iOS users, right? So if people did opt out of being tracked, those types of software still have trouble. Why? Because their visibility, right? So you'll see on my screen here, like this is a perfect example. For this specific ad set here, Cometly tracked 14 purchases and Facebook tracked 12, right? So those 12 that Facebook tracked, or the two that they missed, those two that they missed probably were from people that opted out of tracking. And so with a normal conversion API, that would never show correctly inside the Facebook ads manager. It would show 12. So regardless, if you're using one of the conversion API apps, those work well to optimize your campaigns behind the scenes, like Cometly does, but the visibility on the front end, right? Just specifically seeing the number 14 versus 12, a lot of them do not do that, and they don't do it well. So that's pretty much the difference. Cometly will give you the full 100% accurate visibility to see literally this ad got 14 sales, not 12, but it will data back so that conversion optimization takes place. So we do the two-pronged approach versus them. They kind of just do the optimization and not the visibility.
Cool. Someone says, too bad Cometly doesn't work for ClickFunnels. So what do you think is timeline for that?
Yeah, that's probably going to be right after we launch the spaces and the ad channels. So the cool thing is that a lot of this stuff, we do like a heavy lift. And then, like, for example, this next update is probably going to take about 4 weeks for us to integrate spaces, which is where everyone will be able to add as many stores as they want to one Cometly account. And then also the TikTok integration. Once we do those two things, we literally should be able to start banging out integrations on the sales channel side, like ClickFunnels, different things like that. Right. And also the ad channel side very, very quickly. And that's our number one priority. So realistically, Matt, what would you say? Probably 5 weeks?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 weeks, probably. Yeah, like Grant just mentioned, I mean, the integrations for us after we have that, it's going to be, working on integrations and improving features on the ads manager right here. So, I mean, ClickFunnels is going to entail, obviously, integrating with ClickFunnels directly, but also Stripe. So you'll be able to track that as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot easier now that we have this done to just kind of, like Grant said, just really get out integrations quickly.
Cool. Does Cometly track sales also with Shopify checkout?
Yeah, absolutely. Any sort of sales that go through Shopify, that's our bread and butter. Absolutely.
Cool. Can we create custom audiences in Cometly?
Not yet, Hester. That was a good question, and something that Matt and I, as advertisers running our own ads, that's something that we're so excited about. We may or may not be kind of beta testing our own sort of. We might be a little ahead of you guys on that. You know, kind of testing our own stuff. Maybe have a little competitive advantage, and it's pretty insane. But eventually, that's going to be coming to every Cometly user. The ability to create custom audiences based on this data. But remember, we're still passing this data back to Facebook. So you're still getting good ad optimization, and you're getting your good audiences building up and the pixels learning and stuff like that. So it's still going to help. But the ability to actually create audiences from inside Cometly, that's going to be definitely on the roadmap and coming.
Awesome. So the benefits of the Sita Maga allow you to have more pixels, and sometimes people use 2-3 pixels at the side. They also offer or will offer more pixels integration.
Yeah, so that's something that we probably would be able to build out. Just being fully honest, that's not on the roadmap. Well, it is on the roadmap, but it's not on the roadmap for the next, it's not the most important thing. So if you do use different pixels, you can swap them on Cometly, but you can't have 2 at once. For that though, like I think I was talking to a customer the other day, and they were like, yeah, it's not a big deal. There's like a pixel Shopify app that's, $5 a month or something. So for any sort of custom pixel situations like that, I'd recommend jumping on a different, having Cometly, but then have something additional on the side to fulfill that need. But Cometly should absolutely be able to do that in the future.
Awesome. So do you guys offer instructions on how to set everything up if we use if we use Zipify as our lenders?
Yeah, we actually have a help article specifically for Zipify. So if you're a Cometly user right now, just go into the help center, search Zipify, and you will find the article with the video.
Awesome. Cool. Any other things that you guys wanted to share, kind of like that, like a lot of people might not know about, or maybe some ways of using Cometly, or like even those things like filters that you guys showed?
Yeah, totally. I mean, just high level, we're really excited about the future of Cometly, and we just want everyone to know that, Cometly is our goal is to be the number one, ad analytics and optimization tool. So our number one goal is to really help digital media paid advertisers, get better results from their ads. And that's the direction that we're moving in. We get questions all the time about different types of organic and, email stuff. And those are all things we're considering, but, to the bone, to the core, Matt and I have been running ads for over 10 years. That is really the space that we know. That's why we built Cometly. It was for ourselves as advertisers. So, we're primarily going to be focusing specifically in the paid advertising space, because there's going to be a lot of, rocky roads up ahead in the next few years on just attribution and getting good results on your ads. And so that's really where our main focus is. But we're excited for it, because I think that this tool, we're already seeing it. We're already hearing from, some pretty significant brands, big brands, that are like, wow, we're seeing a major impact on our ad results ever since they started optimizing their ads from Cometly and, listening to us and using this purchase data versus Facebook. So you'll start to really see your ROAS increase as you start to optimize from Cometly. So yeah, in terms of specifically, the stuff that's inside Cometly, yeah, we pretty much covered most of it. We have like a search box up here, like there's a bunch of little stuff, if you literally go ahead and, type in a word, you'll be able to filter down. You can clear that out.
Something really cool that's coming too is going to be rules. So, on Facebook right now, you can create rules, but it's all based off of inaccurate data, right? So
yeah,
with now that you have accurate data here, you have the ability to make changes to the ads. We're going to be adding in rules, so you can actually like create your own custom rules. Where like, hey, if it doesn't have a sale after spending $35, immediately turn off the new ad set, right? The difference too is that, and this is something we talk about a lot, Grant. In Facebook, it takes sometimes it takes up to a day and a half or 2 days to actually have the sale attribute back, if it's even going to attribute back. And by that time, you could already have spent, if you had rules set in Facebook, you can turn off that ad set early, and you actually did have a sale. With us, it updates in about 20 minutes. So, if a sale does come in, with rules, it's going to be, a lot faster data, number one, and more accurate data, right? So it's actually going to be useful when we actually roll out the rules compared to Facebook's.
Yeah, that's so true. And then to piggyback on that, like that's 100% a fact. Like anyone using rules right now on Facebook, if you set a rule to turn off this ad after X budget has been spent, if I don't have a sale, well, what if right now the data is so inaccurate, you could have 10 sales and Facebook would be like, oh, you don't have any sales, we're turning it off, and they screw you, right? But with Cometly, we know the data is accurate, and like Matt said, it reports instantly, whereas Facebook does have delayed attribution. So there's no way to use those rules. So the first part of the rules will be manual rules, right? Where you can create your own and then we will implement that. But then piggyback off that, and this is like a bit longer on the roadmap, guys. So I don't want to get too excited about it, but 6+ months. But after the manual rules, we are now bringing on, engineers that specify in AI and machine learning. And from there, we will literally be able to say to you, hey, Alex, basically there'll be something that pops up on your screen and say, Alex, we recommend that you do X to this ad set, right? This ad set is doing well. We recommend that you scale it 32%. And here's why. Or based on the data analysis that we've done, we recommend that you scale this ad set down because of all the data that we've captured. Fridays are usually not the best, so scale it down to save budget. So like there's some insane optimization machine learning stuff that we're going to build into this platform that's going to give major competitive advantages to advertisers on Cometly.
Another one too would be like, hey, Alex, when you launch new campaigns or new ad sets on Thursdays after between 5 and 10 p.m., you actually get better ad results, right? So like being able to look at all that data in real time, do, big crunching of the data, it's going to be awesome. So.
Yeah, and then if you guys are looking at my screen now, like this is a good example too of one of my favorite views on Cometly, the daily breakdown, right? So this ad set here, we can literally see like, okay, here are the total purchases, and then here's like a day-by-day view. It's like, okay, so it got a sale on the 28th, but then it zeroed out here, 1, 2. And so with that update on the rules and the machine learning, it's like, hey, this ad set tends to get X amount of sales every this day or that day. So we recommend doing this or that to it. So there's just going to be some really ninja stuff that we're going to build into it where you can flip a button and decide to turn on the machine learning, the AI bot or not, or just use the manual rules on your own.
Awesome. So yeah, I think, we have again, a bunch of questions here. So, all right. What's your opinion on first or last click and which would you recommend?
Yeah, so one of the coolest things about Cometly is you can view the data in both. And we want to improve this a little bit. But right now, when you go into your tracking page and you can come down here, you can select last click. The data in your account will all update immediately to last click. And it's actually mind blowing. If you click, you go last click, you come in here and you'll see the data. Right click on the table anywhere and then just go export, and you can export the data into a CSV or an Excel. Then what you can do is come back to tracking, go ahead and click first click and come back here. And then you can literally do the same thing. Right click on here, go export and CSV or C. So actually here, let's look at this. This one ad set here, this is live, cookware, bakeware. So we're on first click and we have 9 purchases. Okay. Still, it's always going to say 25, but these numbers are going to move around ad sets based on first click or last click, right? So this has 9 here. Let's go ahead and go tracking and let's go change to last click. And then we'll go back to the exact same ad set. Okay, so this one still has 9 here, but if we look at like a different one, you'll see the data. I don't know which one it was. The data changes.
The demo grant, so I don't think it changed, but you'll see the change if it's on live account.
Yeah, so the data will literally change. And so that's why you can export and then you can view the data, from first click to last click. As for us personally, I like last click optimization just because, in terms of my optimization and knowing, I want to know which ad actually brought the sale through the doors versus the one that, sort of introduced the person to my website.
Awesome. Okay, so here, another question. Track just the purchases and the raw stuff like add to cart, initiate checkout and other metrics. I don't know if you're talking about that.
That is one of the highly requested features. So I'm glad they brought that up because that's coming with the next update as well. Add to cart, initiate checkout. Those are coming within a few weeks with the Spaces and the TikTok update. So those will be, because those are huge.
Cool. Awesome. So Nadav said, I actually had an ad set that was super bad and turned it off and saw that 3-4 days after it got many sales. How much time do you give the ad set before making changes? What is your recommendation?
So that's an issue with Facebook, right? And we see that all the time. Literally after you turn something off, 3 to 4 days later, it had a bunch of purchases. Within Cometly, you get a sale, we report it onto the ad set within 20 minutes. And so that will never be an issue ever again for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what about, we have some high spender here. What about if I spend more than 200 G's a month? The enterprise plan have monthly ad spend limit of 200K.
Yeah, Ernesto. So you can just start. You can start on that plan, and then we have plans that go all the way up into 3-5 million per month. So those, you'll be able to basically see those plans in your account once you start your free trial. But if you go ahead and start on the 200K, you can go ahead and once you get to 200K, then Cometly is going to automatically pop up on your screen and say like, "Hey, Ernesto, you'll go ahead and upgrade to the next plan." I think it'd be the 300 or 400K plan. But yeah, so you can literally just keep upgrading.
Cool, awesome. So does the Cometly Ads Manager have a breakdown feature?
Breakdown as in, I'm probably gonna guess he's saying like seeing things by age and country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
age,
probably.
gender, placement, stuff
Yep.
like that.
So all that data is data that we can pull into Facebook. Right now, we don't have that, but that's definitely on the roadmap for sure. So if you did want to look at the age and the gender and stuff, you'd have to, pop open Facebook for that. But that's something that's super easy for us to pull in. We haven't gotten a ton of requests on that, but I'm going to write that down because that's definitely going to go on the roadmap as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we have no more questions. Anything else that you guys want to add about the platform, or kind of like for people that maybe like using other platforms, or for people that are not sure if they should try it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, why not give it a shot? Don't even listen to us, listen to all the people that are raving about it and leaving us amazing reviews. The biggest thing with Cometly is, like I said, you get a 14-day free trial. We're not forcing you on this platform. We don't want you to use this platform unless you see insane value from it within the 14 days. So honestly, go ahead and give it a try. And the cool thing is you definitely won't regret it. And in the first 14 days you use it, your mind's going to be blown as to what Facebook tells you versus what we show. And honestly, I know there's a few competitors out there, and we always encourage, go ahead and put us up against them, right? See what Cometly shows, see what they show.
Might be surprised.
Yeah, you probably will be.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up. If you wanna try Cometly, which I highly recommend, and you also have I'm not sure, like, 'cause I have these like 2 links. I'm not sure which one has better deal. Like, let me see here. I guess it's this one.
Yeah.
So try Cometly. Like, if you want to try it, like, that's a link. You get like a discount. I mean, there is nothing to lose, really. Like, I mean, 14 days free trial. If you don't like it, simply don't pay. But I mean, if it works, I mean, that can make like a drastic change in your like advertising performance. As guys said, it's like if you're optimizing for the wrong things, then I mean, that's where you will see like deteriorating results, because your ad spend will be simply allocated not where it should be. And ad spend is like, in our line of business, like ad spend is like 30 to 50% of 30 to 50% of all like expenses.
Literally, it's insane.
Yeah. So
You need to optimize those dollars. And for everybody watching, obviously Matt and I are tight with Alex, and we appreciate everybody in this group. So if you guys have any sort of questions, comments, concerns, reach out to us. We'll make sure our team knows about Alex. And if you guys just say you came from Alex, we're gonna take good care of you guys. So don't hesitate to reach out if you guys have any other questions. You'll be well taken care of.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. Great call and a lot of great insights. So see you guys next time with even like more updates. I know you guys are working hard behind the scenes. Like building a software. It's like it's very time consuming, and I know you guys investing a lot into like developers. I mean, these guys are not cheap.
No.
Like so yeah, awesome to see. And that's a great product that helps advertisers to just be more profitable, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Hell yeah, totally agree. Appreciate that.
Cool. Yeah, thank you guys. And also, we'll add you. Someone asked like if you're in the SS Discord group, we'll add you to our community on Discord.
Cool.
So yeah, some of the guys will be like reaching out to you directly, asking questions. So we have a private community for our people.
Good. Cool.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Cool,
Awesome.
guys. Thank you everyone for watching. And we'll see you in the next video.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.